my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial for you. And this one is called the Narrow Crochet Skull Scarf. Although in this case, it isn't very narrow. The original pattern, which I am posting a link in the description box below, calls for a sock weight yarn. And in this case, I decided to give it a bit more bulk, and I used a weight of 3 yarn, which I used Pound of Love. No, I'm not sponsored, but I've been using it for years, and I love the softness. And this was done in antique white. Now, the pattern itself is pretty simple and straightforward as far as it is a repeat, and then you do another repeat, and so on and so forth. And actually, it's done in 2 pieces. That way, when it is around your neck and hanging down, all the skulls will be right side up. So after you do enough of the repeats, you would then take your other piece, top of the skull facing top of the skull, and seam down the center here using a whip stitch. So it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy, and I love the pattern, and I just couldn't wait to share it with you guys just in time for this fall season. Love Halloween. Anywho, so without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Alrighty, so for row number 1, starts with, of course, a chain stitch, and in this case, the base chain is going to be a total of 48 stitches. In the pattern, it says 46, but then on the very first row, it says chain 2, so just chain 48 stitches, no worries, and we will get started. So after chaining 48, into the 4th chain from the hook, do a double crochet. So that counts as your first 2 double crochets, and then double crochet 2 more double crochets. And so you have your base of 4 double crochets. So this is very, very similar to the granny stitch in style, with the exception that this is a cluster of 4 double crochets as opposed to the typical 3. So after doing your 4 double crochets, chain 2, and then you're going to skip 2 chains, and into the 3rd chain, do a double crochet, and 3 more, for a total of 4 to complete your cluster. And we're going to do this for the entire base chain. So it's chain 2, skip 2 chains, go into the 3rd with a double, add 3 more doubles, there we go, chain 2, skip 2 chains, go into the 3rd with a double, add 3 more doubles, chain 2, skip 2 chains, go into the 3rd with a double, add 3 more doubles, oops, chain 2, skip 2 chains, go into the next with a double, add 3 more doubles, chain 2, we're almost there, skip 2 chains, go into the third. With a double, add 3 more doubles. Chain 2. Skip 2 more chains, go into the third with a double. And, oops, add 3 more doubles to finish your last cluster for row 1. Oops. And there you go. Da, 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 da. Simple enough, right? Okay, and we'll go on to row 2. Alrighty, row 2. So we're going to start by chaining up a 4. Turn the work. And then working into the chain 2 spaces, we're going to do 4 double crochets into that chain 2 space, like so. Chain 2, 4 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, 4 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, and we're almost there. 4 doubles into this last chain 2 space, oops, alrighty, and then ending row 2 by chaining 2, and then doing a double crochet into the third chain from the bottom. Easiest way to determine that, it's not this stitch here, but the next one over. So just going into, be sure to get both loops there, and do a double crochet into that stitch. That way you've got a big loop there and one in this corner too. And that's the end of row 2. Alright, in row 3, so going to start by chaining up of 2, turn the work, and then do 3 double crochets into the chain space. Now you could chain up 3, which is typically what I would do, but I decided to stick with chaining 2, and that first chain 2 is actually going to count as your first double crochet stitch. So then you chain 2 and work your way to the end of the row in the exact same fashion that we have been, and ending by doing 4 double crochets into this last space here. You can skip ahead if you like. I won't take it personally, it's okay. But for the sake of completion and clarity, I'm going to do it on camera, because I know that some of you appreciate it when I go the extra mile, and I like going the extra mile for you guys. It's worth it. So basically it's just a matter of chaining 2 and doing a cluster of 4 double crochets into every space, and aside from the bits where we're actually working on the skull, on either edge is where we're going to be doing these clusters. So it's going to be a very common stitch for you by the end of the project. Just like, if you were doing a granny project. And also, since we're doing a rather simple row here, if you're looking for other Halloween projects or, fall-oriented projects, I do have a couple of stuffed toy projects. I've got a little crocheted spider, a little ghost, pumpkin. If you're looking for something cute and relatively easy, so I've got those as well. So just chaining 2, 4 double crochets, into every chain 2 space. It's really that easy. We're almost there. Besides, I like chit-chatting with you guys. Okay, and we reached the last space, so it is quite simply just doing 4 double crochets into this last space. Easy enough. Da-da-da! And that is the end of our 3rd row. Alrighty, here's where the fun begins. So on row 4, this is where the repeat of the pattern starts. Okay, keep that in mind. So, going to start by chaining up a 4. Turn the work. And it's going to start off pretty straightforward. We're going to be going into that chain space again with 4 double crochets. Nothing out of the ordinary there, right? And we're going to be doing 2 more clusters. So I did my 4 doubles, my chain 2, do 4 more doubles. Chain 2, and 4 more doubles. Alrighty, so like I said, we've got our 3 clusters here. And now we chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we're going to skip this space, and we're going to go into the next one with another cluster. So we're just skipping right along. That's going to be the very, very base where our skull is going to be. So after chaining 9, we've got our cluster of 4. Just be sure to skip that space. Chain 2. Cluster of 4 in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2. Cluster of 4 in the next chain 2 space. And then last but not least, chain 2 and do a double crochet into the second chain of this double crochet here. Like so, right in there. Do a double crochet, and voila, the end of row 4. Onwards to row 5. All right, so we're going to be starting by doing a chaining of 2. Then we turn the work and do 3 more double crochets into this chain space. So that we have a total of 4 doubles. Chain 2. 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Okay. Then we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to crochet 4 single crochet stitches. Let me see here. Yes, 4 single crochet stitches around this chain here. So try to aim for around the middle. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we chain 6 again. 4, 5, and 6. And then into this next chain space, we're going to do another cluster of 4. Chain 2, cluster of 4 into the next chain space. Two, 3, and 4. Chain 2, and then into the last chain space, 4 double crochets. Okay, now what you can do if you find that your single crochets are not as centered as you would like them, you can always shift them a bit. It's not too late. So you want them to be as in the center as you can get them, all right? It's not entirely crucial because since they're not stitched into place, there's some wiggle room for you. So it's not a big deal, okay? So that is the end of row 5. Alrighty, row 6. Going to start by chaining up a 4. Turn the work. 4 double crochets into this first chain space. 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2. 4 double crochets into the next chain space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Then we are going to chain 6. Okay. Now, into the first single crochet that we crocheted onto the chain, we're going to do a double crochet. So going right into that single crochet, that first one, going to do a double crochet. Okay. And then chain 1, double crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet into the last of the 4 single crochet stitches. And now we have the teeth. Alrighty. And so now we chain 6 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And then, because it's all about symmetry, going to do a cluster into not this space here, but the actual space right here. Doing another cluster of 4 doubles. Okay. Chain 2. Cluster of 4 into the next chain 2 space. Okay. Chain 2, and then into the second chain of the last double crochet here, going to the top. It can be a little tricky sometimes, but we persevere, don't we? Going to do a double crochet. And there we are. And that is the end of row 6. Alrighty. We're getting there. Row 7. Alright. So we're going to start by chaining up of 2. And then turn the work. 3 double crochets into this first chain space. So we have our total of 4, as always. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. All right. Now we're going to chain 8 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. All right, so now we're going to do 11 single crochet stitches. We're going to start by doing 2 single crochet stitches around this chain here, so close to the double. We're going to do 2 single crochets. So I got 1 and 2, close to the double but not into the double. All right, so we got our 2. Then we're going to do a single crochet into the double, then into the chain space, into the double, into the chain space, and so forth. So we've got our 2. So this is 3 into the double, 4 goes into the chain space, 5 goes into the double, 6 goes into the chain space, 7 goes into the double, 8 goes into the chain space, 9 goes into the last double, 10 and 11 go around this chain here. So that's 10 and 11. And then we chain 8 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Then into the chain 2 space next, we do another cluster of 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2. And then into the corner space, we do 4 more double crochets so that we can end row 7. Alrighty. We're getting there. We most certainly are. Row number 8. This one's going to be a little bit tricky, but I'm here with you and we'll do it together. Alright, so starting off is easy enough. I'm going to start by chaining up a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the work. And then into the chain 2 space here, 4 double crochets. All right, like so. All right, now we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alrighty. Now, we're going to do 4 single crochets into the first 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do those first 4, okay? So going right in to that first single crochet with a single crochet. I'm going to do 3 more for a total of 4. Alright, so we've got 4 single crochets. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is actually going to create our nose. And we're going to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. So into the 4th stitch, we're going to do another single crochet. And then 3 more. one in each of our single crochet stitches, like so. And now we have a nose on top of the teeth. Okay, so now instead of continuing on, we're going to turn the work right now. So we had done our 4 singles, our chaining of 5, skipping 3, and then 4 single crochets. So now we need to create the eyes. So in order to do that, we are going to chain 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oops, 10. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, okay. So after chaining 10 stitches, we're going to do a single crochet into this chain 5 space to create one eye socket, like so. And then we're going to chain 10 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet, which is the 1, 2, 3, the 4th one, very first one, right there. I'm going to do a slip stitch. Like so. So now we have ourselves 2 eye sockets. Okay. All right, so now we need to turn the work once again. Okay, after doing that slip stitch, we turn the work. And this part's a little bit tricky, but we will get through it. So now what we need to do is we need to do 10 single crochet stitches around this chain of 10, and then 10 single crochet stitches around this chain of 10 for a total of 20 stitches. So the reason why it's a little bit tricky is because the yarn is on the front as opposed to on the back, but just grab it and pull it through and do your single crochet stitch. You can do it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now what I have found helps actually is trying to go further out with your stitches, if that makes any sense, because you don't want them getting all bunched up over here and then having to stretch them out after you've already stitched them in this case. I'll show you again what I mean. So I did my 10 on this side, now I need to do my 10 on this side. So you want to go far afield when you're doing your stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, 8, 9, and 10. And just double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, okay. And that way they're more spread out, I find. Alrighty. And now we need to do another slip stitch, this time right into this, see this space right here. Do a slip stitch. And there you go. And now to finish this row, we're going to chain 10 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then going into the next chain 2 space, we're going to do another cluster of 4 double crochets. 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2. And then do a double crochet into the last double crochet of row 8. Ta-da! See, it's really starting to take some shape now. Oh, creepy. All right, and then we'll do row 9. Row 9. Alrighty. So we're going to start by chaining up 2. Turn the work. And then do 3 more doubles into that chain 2 space. Okay. Chain 2. And then into this space here, we're going to do 4 doubles because we need these clusters to go inward again. So we've got our 4 doubles there. All right. Now, what I did notice is that the pattern says to chain 10 right now, but then on the opposite side it says to chain 8. So obviously 10 and 8, well, that doesn't quite add up. So what I decided to do for my purposes, my variation, is to chain 8 on both sides. So we're going to start by chaining 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alrighty. And now what we're going to need to do is to do 16 slip stitches across the top here, which means since we had 20 before, we need to skip a total of 4. So that means that you need to skip the first 2 single crochet stitches. So that would be this one and this one. So going into the third, so that's 1, 2, and 3, this one right here, do a slip stitch, see I skipped those first 2, going into the third, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8 on the first eye socket. Now it's 8 on the second eye socket because it's a total of 16. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then so these last 2 stitches here, we don't touch. And so that we can continue on by doing 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then again into this space here, we're going to do another cluster of 4 doubles. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4. And do not worry if it's not so close to your other cluster, because you can always shift them if necessary, because they're not actually locked down. So then you chain 2 again, and then into this final space, do 4 more double crochets to finish off row 9. Ta-da! And there we go. All right, so that's row 9. Alrighty, row 10. To start row 10, we're going to do 4 chains. And we're going to turn our work. Nothing new there. And then into the next space, we're going to do 4 double crochets. Oops. 3 and 4. Chain 2. And then again into this space here, we're going to do another cluster of 4 doubles. Okay. Chain 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alrighty, now we're going to need to do 12 single crochets along the top here. Now before we did, it was a total of 16 slip stitches. So now, again, we need to decrease 2 from each side so that it'll be 4 less from the 16 to make 12. Now, what you could do is, all right, so here's 1 and 2. So here is the 3rd stitch right here. Now, you could go in from the back, you could go in from the front. I like to go with the stitch that is most readily visible to me, personally. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So it's right into there. And also, it does help to make your slip stitches a little on the loose side so that it's easier to get into them as we're doing now. So that's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So you should have on this side 2 unworked stitches on this side, okay? Then we chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then into this space again, we're going to do another cluster of 4 double crochets. Oops. 2, 3, 4, chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space, 2, 3, and 4, chain 2, and then last but not least a double crochet into the top of the last double crochet stitch. There we go. And that is the end of row 10. We're getting there. We most certainly are, my dears. Row number 11. Alrighty. Starting off with a chaining of 2. And we're going to turn our work. Alright, finish up the cluster by doing 3 more doubles into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. Okay, into the next chain 2 space, 4 doubles. Like so. Chain 2. Again, into this space here, we're going to do 4 more doubles. Oops. 2, 3, and 4. All right. Going to chain 6 stitches. All right. So now we need, excuse me, we need to do 8 single crochets into the top of the skull. So we did 12 the last time, we need to do 8 this time. So again, decreasing 2 from either side. So skipping the first 2 stitches, go into the third stitch with a single crochet stitch. Like so. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops, and 8. So we have 2 unworked stitches on this side. And then we chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going to do a cluster into this space here. So that's 1, 2 doubles, 3 doubles, and 4 doubles. Again, you can scooch your stitches over if needs be. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. All right. Chain 2, and then into the corner space, 4 more double crochet stitches. All right, and that is the end of row 11. Row 12. All right, so we're going to start by chaining up a 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Into the next chain 2 space, 4 double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Okay, and we have to go into this space once again, so after chaining 2, going to do 4 doubles into this space. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4, like so. And then we chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And the last row we did, it was 8 single crochets. This time it's going to be 6. So we only need to skip the first and the last one. So skipping the first one, we do a single crochet into the second single crochet stitch, as you can see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, then we're going to chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then into this space once again. Going to do a cluster of 4 stitches. Like so. Chain 2, cluster of 4 into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 4 more double crochets into the next chain 2 space. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, chain 2, and then double crochet into the top of the last double crochet stitch, like so. And that's the end of row 12. Ooh, we're so close. I love it. Row 13. Going to start by doing a chaining up of 2. 1, 2. By the way, the hard part is over. All right, so chain 2. 3 more double crochets into that first chain 2 space. Okay, like so. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space, like so. So that's 3 done already. 1, 2, 3. Okay, gonna do another one, so it's chain 2. All right, into this space here, we're going to do another cluster of 4. Okay. And then we chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to go across to the next chain space, and we're going to do another cluster. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Chain 2. Cluster into the next chain 2 space. 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2. 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and then into the last chain space, 4 more doubles. All right, and that is the end of row 13. Row 14. It's going to be easy straight for the rest of this repeat. So we're going to start by chaining 4. Turn the work. And then into the first chain 2 space. 4 doubles to create our cluster. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and then into this space right here, we're going to do another cluster. Like so. And again, you can shift the stitches so that they are into the center as best as possible. Chain 2, into the next chain 2 space, 4 doubles. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain, oops. Chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and into the last double crochet of the cluster, we do a double crochet stitch. All right. And there we go. Now, keep in mind that after you do as many of these repeats as you want, what you would want to do is when you know you have enough repeats done, you want to end on this row. You want to end on row 14, and I'll show you why. Because, so we have our finished one there, figuratively speaking, and then we have our other piece here, excuse me. You would want to join them as such. Okay. And the reason why is because if you end it with this in the center here and that in the center there, there are two rows in between this piece and this piece. And as you can see, in between this space here and this space here, there are two rows. So that would be to have continuity as far as spacing in between your motifs, okay? So, as I said, this being row 14, this is the row that you would end on when you know that it is the proper length for both pieces. You would end on row 14, and I'm not going to do it just yet, but what you would do is, of course, you would cut your yarn, and you would do a whip stitch connecting both pieces together. The easiest route that I have found to do is to have the wrong faces, the wrong sides facing together or the right sides facing together, and quite simply going through both loops of one stitch and then going through both loops of the corresponding stitch on this side. So going through both, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and so forth, doing a whip stitch, connecting the two pieces. You could crochet them together, of course, but the pattern itself called for doing a whip stitch, so I'm just putting it out there. Okay, so that is the end of row 14 and how you would connect the two of these together. So we're going to continue on with row 15, and we'll finish this up. Alrighty. Alrighty, so row 15, which is the last row of our repeat. Alrighty, so going to start by chaining up of 2. There we go. Turn the work. Three double crochets into that first chain 2 space. And this row is really easy peasy. It's just getting us back on track, really. So we've got our cluster, chain 2, 4 doubles into that chain 2 space. Okay, chain 2, 4 doubles into the next chain 2 space. Chain 2. All right, now we're treating these 2 spaces just as we would any other. So into this chain 2 space, 4 doubles. Okay. Chain 2. Into the next chain 2 space, 4 doubles. chain 2, into the next chain 2 space, 4 more doubles, chain 2, and then into the next chain 2 space, 4 more doubles, chain 2, and into the last corner space, 4 more doubles, ending row 15. So row 16, so to speak, would be the same as row 4. So I say that, according to the pattern, yes, 16, same as row 4. So that being said, 15 is the last row for the whole repeat for the motif. So then, if you go back to row 4, it would start by chaining up a 4, and then doing a cluster in here, 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 and then doing your chaining of 9, skipping over this space here, and then doing cluster, 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 chain 2, and double crochet in the end. And so basically, the repeat is just this, and you can do however many of these repeat motifs as you wish. Excuse me. Me, for the length that I prefer, which is approximately 7 feet in length, that means that I would need approximately 5 to 6 of these motifs for one half, and then do the same number for the other half, and then whip stitch these pieces together. Again, keeping in mind that you would leave off row 15 when you have the length that you want, okay? Now, you could, of course, do the row 15, but be sure to do it on both sides, both pieces. The only thing is that you would have more rows in between part A and part B. I hope I'm making some sort of discernible sense. It is, of course, totally up to you. I'm just telling you what the pattern dictates, okay? So, that being said, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did, because you know I love this stuff, and that you found it helpful, enjoyable, and I really hope that you decide to make one for this holiday season, because these are so much fun, and you don't necessarily have to do, typical, antique white or gray or black. No, if you want to go for more of a Day of the Dead motif, you could use a whole array of colors, could be pretty neat, I think. So, with that all being said, if you liked the video, please hit the like button. Your support means ever so much to me. Also, check out the pattern. I'm going to, like I said, put a description, link to it in the description box below. I'm a little tongue-tied, sorry. Fabulous designer, I must say. And if you have any questions, comments, feel free to contact me, and I will help if I can. Also, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, because I try to post videos as often as I can, because this is my passion and I love it oh so very, very much. So listen, until next time, I want you guys to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, keep stitching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.